Leo, let's not sugarcoat it. What's coming your way between September 23rd and 25th might feel like a sudden bucket of cold water thrown over your head. But here's the twist, it's not water. It's liquid gold. And it's falling straight into your lap. I'm talking about a message that's going to hit differently. It could show up in your inbox, in the mail, a phone call, even a contract or decision you weren't expecting to land yet. But inside it, something big. Really big. For some of you, it's a financial shift. For others, it's clarity, closure, or the green light on something you've been praying for. Either way, it's not just good news. It's divine timing. Now listen, you didn't just stumble onto this video. You were guided here. You may not realize it yet, but the universe has been whispering to you for days, maybe even weeks. And this right now? This is confirmation. Think back, have you been seeing odd signs? Repeating numbers? Dreams that feel more like warnings or invitations than just random thoughts? That's not coincidence. That's alignment. The sun has just stepped into Libra, activating themes around justice, balance, and long overdue energetic compensation. If something has felt on hold, this is your release point. If something felt unfair, expect the scales to tilt. If something was taken, get ready for its return tenfold. Leo, you've been walking through fire for months. You've been tested by relationships, by delays, by your own self-doubt. You've watched other people receive while you stayed stuck in wait mode. But this week changes the game. You're not just getting what you want. You're getting what you deserve. And you know what? Someone close to you is going to lose it when it happens. I mean full-on emotional overflow. Tears, hugs, celebrations, maybe even a little too much sweetness. Because this win isn't just for you, it's for the person who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. Someone's been quietly rooting for your comeback. And when that message comes in, they'll feel it too. There's more. Love is swirling in this storm. Not dramatic, roller coaster love, but real, grounded, tender connection. If you've been waiting for a sign to say yes to someone new or say yes again to someone familiar, watch what shows up around the 24th. The stars say softness is safe now. Now, before we go deeper, let me pause and say something from the heart. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for watching, for every like, every share, every comment, every silent nod on the other side of the screen. Every time you engage with this channel, you're not just supporting content, you're expanding a space for spiritual growth and real healing. That matters. And I see you. So if something inside you is saying, this might be for me, don't ignore that. Claim it. Type it. Say it out loud. Confirm it. Comment below, I'm ready to receive the gold meant for me. Because trust me, Leo want to stay with me until the end of this reading. What the universe is about to reveal is nothing short of incredible. You know, sometimes life doesn't give us a trumpet sound before the miracle hits. It doesn't always send a grand announcement or a lightning bolt in the sky. Sometimes, it comes as a cold splash, a moment that jolts you, catches you off guard, and makes you question if you're being punished or blessed. And Leo, between September 23rd and 25th, you might feel like that splash is coming. But what if I told you that bucket of water isn't here to shock you? It's here to anoint you. And what it carries isn't discomfort, it's gold. When the Ace of Cups shows up alongside the King of Swords and the Page of Pentacles, the message is crystal clear. Something real is being poured into your life, and it's wrapped in the language of logic, structure, and long-awaited opportunity. This isn't a fantasy. This is the email you weren't expecting but secretly hoped for. This is the contract delayed for months, finally landing with your name signed in favor. This is the kind of moment that makes you double-check the sender because you're not sure it's real. But it is. With the sun moving into Libra, the cosmic balance tilts toward fairness. This astrological shift favors justice, legal matters, debts being paid, people getting what they actually deserve. And Leo, you've been waiting. You've been patient through closed doors and vague promises. You've done the work. You've held your tongue. You've shown up even when no one clapped for you. So when this message lands, whether it's a new job, a settlement, a financial green light, it won't be a fluke. It will be the result of seeds sown long ago finally breaking through the soil. Still, it's easy to miss the signs when they come in quietly. That's the tricky part. We often expect divine reward to arrive like a parade, but more often, it shows up in an overlooked folder in your inbox. Or a phone call that starts with, "We've reviewed your case." It's small on the surface but spiritually seismic underneath. This is why I always encourage people to clear space, not just in their calendar, but in their energy field. Clear the mental clutter. Empty the emotional junk drawer. That way, when the message comes, you're not too distracted or too jaded to notice. The King of Swords asks for mental clarity. The Hermit asks for presence. And the Page of Pentacles reminds you that even the most humble envelope can carry life-changing news. Here's something that's helped me, and maybe it'll help you too. Whenever I feel something is shifting, I write this down and place it where I can see it, in the fridge, on the bathroom mirror, even as a phone reminder. It's simple, but powerful. I open my hands and heart to receive what's already mine. That one line has turned entire seasons of delay into acceleration. And let's not forget what we've already learned through the quiet teachings of everyday life. Sometimes blessings show up disguised as disruptions. Sometimes the thing that feels like it's throwing you off course is actually setting you on the right one. Think back. How many times has your life taken a left turn, only for it to become the road to something you never imagined? That's what this energy is about. Unscheduled grace. Unplanned breakthrough. Unmistakable divine setup. So if something small occurs, don't dismiss it. If something unexpected knocks on your door, don't assume it's just noise. It might be the beginning of something you've prayed about in the dark for years. Stay awake. Stay grounded. Stay ready. And if you feel that this message was for you, speak it out loud. Type it. Anchor it. Comment below, "I'm ready to receive what's already mine." That declaration alone can move energy. And who knows, maybe that message is already in motion, headed straight for you. You know, Leo, sometimes the reward isn't just in what we receive, but in who we get to share it with. After all those quiet seasons where you pushed through without applause, without certainty, maybe even without hope, what's coming now isn't just a breakthrough for you. It's a moment of recognition for someone who's been quietly holding space for your light to return. And when that message lands, when that opportunity or answer finally comes, it won't just crack open your heart. It'll overflow theirs, too. You might think of this person already. Maybe it's a partner who sat with you in silence when words were too heavy. Maybe it's a parent or a sibling who never gave up praying for your restoration. Maybe it's a friend who texted you encouragement when they didn't know you were crying in bed. Whoever they are, they've been tied to your soul's process. They didn't just want good things for you. They believed in your healing before they could see any evidence of it. There's a kind of love that doesn't perform. It doesn't ask for credit. It doesn't need constant proof. It just stays. It's the kind of presence that doesn't feel loud, but carries power, quiet, steady, anchoring. This kind of love doesn't always shout when you win. Sometimes it cries. Because it knows what you went through. Because it felt it too. The emotional energy surrounding the waning moon on September 24th and 25th makes this connection even deeper. That moon phase is a time of internal clearing. Old stories fall away. Deep truths rise. Emotions that have been tucked beneath performance, survival, and pride begin to surface. Not as weakness, but as witness. The kind that says, I saw it. I was there. And now we rise. This isn't just about romance, though for some of you, yes, this moment will bring in the one who's loved you in the dark. But it could also be your child. Your best friend. Someone who saw you fall apart, and never made you feel like a burden. And now that your win is finally coming into form, they will feel it like oxygen. There's a healing in letting yourself be loved in the aftermath of a breakthrough. It's easy to say, I did it all on my own. But what if you didn't? What if part of your rising was supported by invisible hands, silent prayers, and someone who never stopped seeing the version of you that even you forgot? So here's something to try: write a letter to that person. Don't overthink it. You don't even have to send it. Just put it on paper. Honor their presence. Let the gratitude move through you, unfiltered. You'll be amazed how healing it feels just to acknowledge the souls who stayed. And when your moment arrives, whether it's an email, a call, a green light, or an open door, share it. Not to show off, but to let them know, we made it. You never had to carry it alone, and now you don't have to celebrate it alone either. If you feel someone specific on your heart while hearing this, take a moment. Think of their name. Picture their face. And when you're ready, comment below. I know exactly who would cry with me when I win. Let's give their spirit a seat in the celebration. Let's honor those who watered our roots when no one else was watching. Because sometimes, the real miracle isn't what changes in your life. It's realizing someone never needed you to change to keep loving you anyway. Sometimes the smallest message can shift something deep inside you. A simple, good night text. A photo. A memory resurfacing at just the right time. It doesn't have to be loud to mean something. In fact, the most meaningful things often arrive quietly, wrapped in gentleness, not fireworks. Leo, as we continue through this powerful 3-day window, there's a soft current rising underneath all the big financial and energetic shifts we've talked about. It's the current of love. Not just any love, but the kind that sees you. The kind that knows how to touch your soul without needing to be dramatic about it. This energy is subtle, but unmistakable. Page of Cups, the Star, and 3 of Cups, all deeply emotional, intuitive cards. When these appear together, especially with Venus forming a rare trine to Jupiter on September 24th, we get what I like to call cosmic matchmaking. Not in the rom-com sense, but in the alignment sense. These transits don't force connections. They allow them. They soften your defenses. They remove the fog around your heart just enough to let someone in, not because you're desperate, but because you're finally ready. And readiness isn't about having it all figured out. It's about willingness. Willingness to be seen. To let someone care. To let go of the armor you built to survive the heartbreaks that came before. If you're single, this isn't about finding the one overnight. It's about acknowledging that you've grown enough to receive love differently this time. You're not looking for perfection. You're looking for resonance. And that resonance might come through a message this week, a simple invitation, a voice you weren't expecting, or even just a look across a room that feels strangely familiar. If you're already in a relationship, this energy invites a deeper noticing. You might find yourself noticing the little things again, the way they pour your coffee, how they always check the doors before bed, the way they listen when you're quiet. Love doesn't need to scream. It just needs to be present. The astrology here is asking us to slow down and notice the way love already exists in your life, especially in the spaces you've overlooked. One thing I've seen over and over in my work and in my own leaf is that love often arrives in the in-between moments. It's not always in the grand gestures. It's in the way someone lets you speak without interruption. The way they remember your laugh. The way they wait when you're not ready yet, but don't leave. When the star shows up, there's hope. Not the naive kind, but the kind that rebuilds you from the inside out. The kind that says, I don't need to be perfect to be loved. So if someone sends you a message this weekend, a question, an invitation, even a memoir, don't brush it off. Don't overthink it either. Just feel into it. The real magic of this time isn't about chasing something. It's about being open enough to receive what's already moving toward you. If you're feeling that softness stir inside you even just a little, pay attention. That's your heart reminding you it's still alive, still hopeful, still open to connection. And if that sounds like where you're at right now, say it. Claim it. Comment below, I am ready to love and be loved. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to be willing to walk toward what feels real. Maybe this time, love isn't something you chase. Maybe it's something you finally let in. Sometimes, the hardest part about growth isn't the mountain you climb, it's the people who watch you climb it and decide they can't be happy for you. And Leo, you're entering a chapter where your light will be impossible to ignore. Your success, your presence, your quiet healing gets becoming visible. And not everyone will know how to hold that with grace. Some will stand just far enough away that you can't hear what they're saying, but you'll feel it. That silent comparison. That subtle sting of envy. The question hanging in the air, why them and not me? There's someone right now, maybe more than one, watching you from the sidelines of their own life. And as you rise, they are confronted not just with your light, but with the shadows they haven't dealt with. This isn't about you being too much. It's about them not knowing what to do with what they see. Maybe they loved you once, maybe they still do. Maybe they never believed in you, or maybe they always wanted to be like you but couldn't admit it. The truth is, their discomfort doesn't make you wrong for growing. And it certainly doesn't mean you owe them an apology for becoming whole. There's an energetic law at play here: what you expand, you will attract. And what you fear, you will repel. If you shrink yourself to make others feel safe, you cut off the very flow that was trying to lift you. If you try to explain your joy, your progress, or your peace to someone who isn't in the same vibration, it won't land. Not because you're better, but because they're not ready. Astrologically, the interplay between Leo, Cancer, and Libra this week is asking for real emotional maturity. Leo rules visibility, courage, and heart-centered expression. Cancer asks us to nurture, but can sometimes over-identify with emotional safety. Libra teaches us harmony, but it can tip into people-pleasing. The balance between these forces? Holding space for your own brilliance without making yourself smaller just to be palatable. That's the lesson. That's the work. Now, let's be honest, feeling judged or misunderstood can trigger all kinds of old patterns. People-pleasing, over-explaining, even self-sabotage. That's why one of the most healing tools I often share is the practice of silent forgiveness. You don't have to confront the person. You don't even have to tell them what you felt. Just take a momentality and say to yourself, I release them. I release the weight of their gaze. I bless their path and I return to mine. This practice isn't about them. It's about setting your own heart free from the heaviness of carrying resentment or guilt that isn't yours to hold. You're not responsible for how others perceive your healing. You're responsible for protecting your peace. You're not meant to water yourself down for anyone who hasn't yet remembered their own brilliance. And most importantly, you're not required to apologize for blooming in a garden someone else chose not to tend. So if you've been feeling that edge, like someone's watching you with mixed energy, or even outright discomfort, just know this: it's okay. You're not imagining it. But you also don't need to engage with it. Let your energy do the talking. Let your consistency speak louder than their silence. And if you're feeling strong enough, I invite you to reclaim it fully. Comment below, I will not shrink to be accepted, I will rise to be aligned. Because your job is not to fit into someone else's version of your life. Your job is to keep shining even when it makes someone else squint. There's a quiet truth many people don't talk about. When you grow, the past will test you. Sometimes, it shows up wearing the same face you once loved. Not because it's meant to stay, but because it wants to know if you're still who you used to be. And Leo, with everything that's shifting around you right now, your clarity, your energy, your healing, it's not surprising that someone from your past might show up right when you're stepping into something new. It may come in the form of a message you didn't expect, a familiar name lighting up your phone, or a coincidental run-in that doesn't feel so random. You might feel a mix of emotions: nostalgia, hesitation, maybe even guilt. And that's normal. Growth doesn't make you immune to memory. But it does give you the power to make different choices. The cards we see here, the Lovers, the Fool, Two of Pentacles, speak clearly. A choice is approaching. One path is familiar, maybe even tempting in its comfort. But the other? The other is unknown, light-filled, and free. And Mars, currently squaring the Moon, brings heat to the situation. You may feel a sudden urgency, like you're being pulled to make a decision on the spot. But pause. Take a breath. This isn't just a test of love, it's a test of self. People change, yes. But not always in the ways we imagine. Sometimes they return not because they're ready for you, but because they sense your energy shifting without them. Sometimes they don't want you back, they just don't want to lose their old place in your story. That's why it's important to ask yourself, do they really see who I am now, or do they still see the version of me who needed their validation? Growth isn't cruel. It doesn't require you to shut doors in anger. It simply asks you to recognize when a chapter has ended. And in the realm of self-help and energetic work, there's a very simple truth I've learned. We don't owe anyone access to the healed version of us if they abandoned the broken one. You can respond with kindness, without opening the door. You can say, "Thank you for checking in. I hope you're well. But I'm no longer living where you left me." That sentence doesn't come from bitterness. It comes from peace. It comes from honoring the work you've done, the nights you cried quietly, the mornings you chose yourself, the decisions you made alone while they were absent. There's beauty in closure, but closure doesn't always require a conversation. Sometimes it's just a soft moment in your heart where you finally say, "I'm done trying to be who I was for someone who couldn't hold me then." And that's when the real freedom begins. So if this resonates, if you've felt the pull of the past lately, or if you've had someone reappear just when you started to feel whole, know that it's okay to feel it all. But you don't have to go back. You can bless the memory and keep walking forward. That is power. That is healing. That is alignment. And if you know deep down that you've outgrown what once fit you, say it out loud. Comment below, "I've moved on, and I'm not going back." Let your future hear you. Let your past know you're grateful but not available. Because the version of you who's emerging now, they deserve space. They deserve new soil. And most of all, they deserve peace. Leo, if you've made it to this point in the reading, take a deep breath with me. Slowly in and out. Because what you've just walked through isn't just a message, it's a spiritual mirror. And everything we've uncovered together, from the golden message that's on its way, to the quiet love that sees your soul, to the past knocking just to find the door closed, none of that is by accident. From September 23rd to 25th, your life may feel like it's being splashed by surprise. But what if that wasn't just chaos? What if that was divine timing? What if you weren't just getting wet, but being anointed, washed in liquid gold? Let that image settle in for a moment. You're not drowning, you're being reset. Renewed. Everything you thought was a delay may turn out to be alignment. The silence was sacred. The tension was a teaching. And now, the shift has begun. This is your moment to choose what to do with the wisdom you've just received. Will you stay where it's safe, or will you walk forward open-hearted, hands wide open, ready to receive? Can you let yourself be loved without shrinking? Can you let go of the past without guilt? Can you allow the universe to give to you without explaining why you're finally ready? I want to invite you to start small, but start intentionally. Tomorrow morning, when you wake up, place your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and breathe deeply 3 times. And then say, either aloud or in your heart, "I receive the gold meant for me with open hands." It doesn't have to be loud. But it must be real. Let your energy lead the way from this moment on. The people meant for you, the opportunities written in your name, they don't need to be chased. They need to be welcomed. And before you go, I have a small request. Ask yourself, what part of today's message resonated with you the most? What spoke to a piece of you that maybe you forgot was still alive? Who do you think of when you imagine someone crying tears of joy for you? And are you ready to finally say goodbye to what no longer fits? Share with me in the comments. I read every one. This isn't just a video, it's a conversation. You are a part of this sacred circle we're building here at Eternal Mindfulness, and your voice matters. If this message stirred something inside you, let it move through action. Hit like. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't just walk with us. Let this be your space for healing, clarity, and soul-deep reminders of who you truly are. And if you're ready truly to step into this new chapter, I invite you to comment below. I receive the golden pouring from the universe. Let the universe see your readiness. Let your heart confirm it. Thank you for your time, your presence, and your trust. I'm honored to guide you, and I can't wait to see what unfolds next for you. You are not just watched, you are witnessed. And your time is now.